guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me for another one of my videos. So today I really wanted to talk about a topic which I think a lot of people will really find interesting, and it's something I have definitely explored myself within my law of attraction journey and even recently, and it's whether it's our fault that bad things happen to us or we attract bad things to us. Is it our fault? Did we attract it? And I guess the reason why I felt it was important to cover this is because I've seen so many comments recently of, you know, even a lady in my Facebook group posted some really sad news that had happened to her. And, you know, obviously, like, my heart went out to her. I sent her love. I was like, you know, sending you lots of love and healing. And then other comments were like, it's okay, you attracted it to yourself. I was like, what? No. Now, let me clarify. There's two reasons to why bad things can happen to us. One, yes, you may have attracted it to yourself, and we will go through how you can determine whether you have attracted that to yourself. But secondly, we live in a universe of so many different laws. We live in a universe where it's not just that simple. It's really not. And we come into this lifetime with karmic contracts, soul contracts to other people, lessons that we have to learn, trauma we have to go through to become the people we are meant to become. We have a life path. The story is written. So sometimes it's not that you were bad or you had a bad vibration or you weren't doing enough. Sometimes it was always meant to happen. And I'm going to talk about a variety of situations that have happened in my life which at the time, yes, I could have attracted to them, but now in the state where I am now, I haven't attracted it to myself. It's a karmic lesson. It's something that had to happen to elevate me, to challenge me to grow, to make me become stronger. So, you know, I've had questions like this before from people of saying, well, you know, I have cancer, did I attract that to myself? And it's like, hell no. Like, I believe that physical illnesses are a manifestation of suppression. So for instance, if you have been suppressing something emotionally, you know, for instance, like breast cancer can be very much you're suppressing your femininity, same with ovarian cancer. So there are lots of things that can contribute to cancers and illnesses, etc. And a lot of the time it can be suppression of emotion, and that you're suppressing something and therefore it's manifesting into ill health. That doesn't mean you attracted it to you. That doesn't mean that you have been saying like, I really want that illness or whatever, or do you know what I mean? Like, it's such a hard one to even get your head around. But what I want you to know is that your soul chose that. Your soul chose that illness, your soul chose that trauma, your soul chose that lesson to come here and learn. And yes, we are spiritual beings, souls that can create our reality. Absolutely, we can call things into our reality. But I think big fundamental things like this, I truly believe, are in our soul contracts, are our karma that we come here to experience, to elevate us. And when I look back to, you know, my spiritual journey and everything that's, you know, led me up to where I am now, I look at a lot of shit situations that happened in my life, really shit situations like being cheated on and etc. And it tore me apart, it broke me as a person. But whether I attracted that to myself or not, that relationship always had to end. And I was always meant to spiritually awaken, go along this journey, go along my spiritual path, be who I am now, and, you know, obviously like manifest a different partner. Like, I was never meant to be with that person. So it's like the story was already written there of he would come into my life, do that. I would go through like depression and wanting to kill myself and be suicidal, have like crippling depression, hate myself, be in the shittest place in my life so I could hit rock bottom and choose differently. And I feel that when bad things come to us, it's challenging us to say, what are you going to do? Are you going to rise? Are you going to face the challenge and rise and become stronger? And I saw a really good explanation of this in a video I watched actually, of how if you say, you know, I want this dream person, like dream love, and this is the characteristics and blah 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 blah, your higher self is going to attract a situation into your life which is going to teach you exactly what you don't want so you know what you do want. And that's what happened in my case. That is literally what happened. So it's not that I attracted a shit situation, whereas back then I was, you know, switched off and unconscious. So yes, I probably did to some degree have a play in how things were negative, but essentially that person was a karmic soulmate. That was written, they were always going to come into my life. They were always going to do that. They were always going to hurt me. They were always going to push me to the brink of my existence, to push me to up level, to trigger me into awakening, to trigger me to go along a healing path where I am now. So I really feel on that level, the trauma, pain, illness, basically anything negative, which, you know, even abuse, which is awful, you're not being, I don't want to say like you didn't attract that to you, because obviously if someone goes through abuse, then they're going to be used to abuse, especially from a young age if that's conditioned into them, and then, you know, they're going to attract more abusive situations. That's not the universe being horrid, but it's challenging you as that person to get to a point where you're like, stop, I choose better, I heal myself, I'm up leveling, and I choose better. So really a lot of the time, like, people can blame law of attraction and say, oh well, you manifested it to yourself, and it's like, it's not that simple. And that's what I really want to stress here, and what I'm seeing a lot of other spiritual YouTubers talk about, which is really good, that it's not that simple. It's just not. Okay, the law of attraction is mirrors to us. We mirror everything. What we put out comes back to us. What we put into our space comes back to us, of course, but equally it's more than just law of attraction. The law of attraction is not the only thing at play here in this universe, and it would be very naive to believe that it's just that too, because we know about past lives. Like, I have had very profound past life experiences, and sometimes we can bring that past life karma into this life. Not always, but sometimes we can definitely. And you know, I know myself, I've had to heal a lot of past life trauma and karmic cycles and etc, etc. So it's just so much more complex, and the more I delve into my spirituality, and the more I delve into healing and processing and growing up in this life as Emma, it's just not that simple. Like, it's just really not as black and white as you think it is. So what I really want to say to you is, like, if something terrible happens to you, and what I want to stress here is, this is how you know that you didn't attract it to yourself, is if you were showing up and you're doing the work and you're healing, you're not spiritually bypassing, you are feeling your emotions and allowing them to process through you, you are healing, you are showing up, you were doing your spiritual practices, overall your vibration is of a positive nature, and you're not a dick, basically, like, you're a good, kind person, you didn't attract that to you. This is your highest self. This is your soul contracts, your karmic contracts with the universe of why you chose to come here in this lifetime, in this body, as yourself, to experience those things, because life is not easy. Like, life is not always easy, and it can be easy, absolutely, and we're definitely affirming that, but ultimately you're still going to have lessons. Nobody is exempt from lessons, and the way we grow, the way we evolve, the way we rise as a collective is through challenges, is through the hard times. You don't learn through the easy times, you freaking celebrate. Life's a breeze. So even when you reach that point where you've healed it, and I know I have healed that part of me that thought I deserved to be cheated on, that deserved that to happen and to be treated wrongly by men, and I can see now in my life that I have absolutely healed that I have such a different approach and have that self-love, have that self-worth, where I don't allow those things to happen. But still, you know, a negative situation did happen, but I know that I didn't attract that to myself, because my response was completely different to how I would have reacted in the past, how I did react in the past. And instead of feeling victimized, instead of feeling that I wasn't worthy and like I was the problem and that I'd done something wrong and it was me and I was, you know, the blame game, essentially, the victim ego, I sat there and I was like, that person's in pain, it's not me. And I knew I'd healed that because I could sit there and say, this is nothing to do with me. This is this is like their stuff, this is someone who's in pain, that is nothing to do with me. And from that, I was able to not take it personally, not take that pain personally, not take that and say it's my fault, because I knew I hadn't been thinking those thoughts. I know that I had no concern of that at all, but it was something that happened, and I was able to say, look, this is nothing to do with me, this is all to do with them, they're in pain, and I choose differently, I choose better, and actually it's not my fault. And this is what my soul has aligned for me, to keep making better choices, keep up leveling, and keep choosing situations, people, life circumstances that feel good to me. And you know, even along my whole manifesting journey, I've been tested, and that's not because I'm, you know, attracting tests or people, situations, houses, careers, whatever, manifestations, which book deals, like, well, that weren't aligned. It's actually that the universe will test you and say, are you sure you know what you want? Are you sure you know what you want? And this is what I've learned, that the universe will bring to you situations to show you exactly what you don't want, so that you know what you do want, and then you choose that fearlessly. So really, it is a case of, if you didn't know pain, suffering, abuse, trauma, all the shit stuff, if you didn't know what that was, how would you know what you do want? And I've seen very flip sides of people who had very easy lives, who have never really had any trauma, never really had any suffering. They have no awareness of anything. Now, they will have pain and trauma, obviously, but you see the people who have really gone through, God, just awful, tragic things, they will take lead of their life. They have stepped up and are like, no, I choose better, and I'm choosing that this pain, this illness, this suffering will help me rise. And I think that's what's important to acknowledge here, that we are going to learn until our last breath on this earth. Like, even when you get the happily ever after or the happily ever dream life, you're still going to have challenges in all areas of your life. It's never going to be just great, we're happy forever and everything's great. It's actually, you're still going to get tests, like, and even in relationships, like, that is divine assignments. Like, they are divine assignments where they are going to expand you, they are going to test you. So it's a case of, you know, not everything is easy breezy, but you can still have a happy, amazing life. And it's how you deal with these circumstances, it's how you deal with the pain, the triggers, the trauma, anything else that does happen in life, even grief. It's how you deal with that, which is how you know that you have up leveled, you have grown, you have done the work as such. A way to know whether you have attracted something, you know, negative or bad to you, is to say, have I been showing up? Have I been thinking continuously negative thoughts? Do I have that belief system in me that I deserved that? Like, what I could recognize within myself was, I don't hold that belief system in me anymore. I know that's healed because I'm sat here knowing this is not personal. I'm sat here knowing this is nothing to do with me. So really, it's about looking at your mindset and how you react to things that can happen in your life, and think, okay, like, oh my God, yes, things hurt. Like, you're allowed to hurt, you're allowed to cry, you're allowed to be in pain, you're allowed to be angry, you're allowed to feel all the emotions. But it's once those temporary ego emotions have settled, even if it's a few days, see how you feel after a few days. And if you are settled in that place of, yeah, I know I didn't attract this to me, this is just a divine assignment from my higher self, from the universe, this is obviously, you know, a soul contract, a karmic contract, which I'm meant to learn through. So if you are in that low vibrational ego, victim mode, blaming, all of that, that could be a sign that yes, your vibration could have pulled that in. But I think what we just need to realize here is life is so much more complex than that. It really is. The law of attraction is like the tip of the iceberg. And this is why I say the law of attraction is so appealing to people, because it draws people in to almost be like, have your dream life. And then it's like, actually, you're gonna heal every wound and every past trauma that's happened to you, so you can be a better person and up level and serve other people and help the universe. And then cool, yeah, we'll have some abundance and manifestations too. So really, like, it's really acknowledging that the law of attraction is surface level. I feel that the law of attraction is a law. It works. We know it. If what we put out, it comes back to us. If we're thinking about something and then it happens, you're like, whoa. So the law of attraction absolutely does happen. It works. It is a thing. It definitely is true. But I think instead of falling into this almost trap online that there is of, you manifested this to yourself, and I just thought, Jesus Christ, this woman is like in pain and you're telling her she manifested this, like, this is not good. So I think it's like, yes, it's taking accountability. Like, yes, we take accountability for our actions, but actually what you should be looking at is not accountability of, oh, I obviously attracted this, like, I've obviously got that belief, I obviously don't believe that, or I think I'm not worthy, or whatever the situation is, or I think I deserved that to happen to me. If you are feeling that, then that's a sign that yes, there are wounds there. You need to obviously go within and heal that, and to really work on your worth, you know, your deservingness and all of this. So if you are feeling that victim mode, once the surface level emotions have passed, and this is what I say because I know myself and I can hold my hands up, the first thing I do when, you know, something bad does happen is I'm like, why universe? And then you have all that anger, you have all that rage, you have that upset, and then it's like you try to blame yourself, but then I was like, whoa, no, like, you're past that, you've healed that, you're in a totally different place, you're not that person anymore. And that's how I knew that it was surface level reaction emotions. And then once I'd calmed down and had time to process and had time to, you know, move things through me and just be like, okay, have a clear head where I'm not in the moment of reactiveness, I realized that actually it was nothing to do with me at all, and that this was just a divine assignment. And I'm obviously saying about one example, but there's tons of examples in my life where I can say very similar things of, once the reactiveness is gone, you think, actually, the universe is either saving you from a bullet here. Remember, rejection is redirection to what is meant for you. So there's multiple things here, but the universe could be protecting you. It could be that event, that trauma, that upset, whatever it is, was always meant to happen to trigger you into healing, to trigger you into up-leveling, to trigger you into keep choosing better and keep choosing the life that you want. So it's really like multiple things, and I don't even think all of us have the answer to the true reason why all of these happen. You know, we're obviously learning as we all go. We're all learning as we go. All of us, every single human being. I don't think any human being has the universe nailed in terms of why things happen or what this is all for, etc. We obviously have a good indication, but ultimately we're all learning. We're all learning from generations, ancestors, from our spirit team, from the universe, from everything. So all we can do is trust what feels good to us, and that's always what I say, like, vibe with what feels true to you, and, you know, go within and ask yourself, did I attract this to myself? But remember to ask your higher self here, and the higher self will bring these circumstances and challenges and tests into our life, not to punish us, not because we deserved it, not because we weren't doing enough, because I know myself, I was doing the work. Jesus Christ, like, I do the work, I show up, I, you know, walk my talk, I heal, I go within, I take time off my work when I need to address things if I need to. Like, there is not one part of me that is like, I have bypassed anything. Absolutely not. Because in all honesty, like, I don't want to feel bad. Like, for me, like, it's a case of, I don't want to feel bad. I've come so far, like, I'm not gonna feel bad about something. I'm not gonna let something go untouched, because I know what the other side of that is. I know how that manifests into ill health. I know how that manifests into other things, and that's not what I want. So I think you really just have to be honest with yourself and say, right, before that event happened, my vibration, where was it at? Was I in alignment with myself? Have I been showing up? Have I been doing my work? Do I believe that I deserved for that to happen to me? And if you are in a place of like, nope, absolutely not, I've healed that, I'm past that, this is obviously a karmic situation which was always going to happen, always meant to happen, and it's leading you to exactly where you're meant to be. Now, I could look at my past and say, oh, did I really deserve to have all that shit happen to me? Did I deserve to be left in 7 grand debt? Did I deserve to be cheated on multiple times? Did I deserve all of the shit that happened to me? No, I don't think I did, but my soul chose that. My soul chose that. Now, I'm not saying I was perfect, because obviously back then I was unawakened, and you know, we all have a past, and at the end of the day, like, I definitely did not always make the best decisions. Absolutely, like, that's a fact. That is life. Like, before, you know, you learn from your mistakes. But in terms of those situations, if those situations had never happened to me, if I'd never been left in £7,000 worth of debt, which felt like the end of the world to me, and left and cheated on with that guy, well, I wouldn't have my first business, which had over 500,000 followers, got me out of debt. It gave me the platform to do what I do today. There we go. If I had never been cheated on by the second ex-boyfriend and just emotionally abused and made to feel like utter shit as a human being, I wouldn't have wanted to kill myself. I wouldn't have been at that rock bottom where there was nothing else. There was nothing left of me. I didn't know who I was anymore. Now, if that hadn't have happened, I wouldn't have hit rock bottom. And if I hadn't have hit rock bottom, I wouldn't have known what utter despair was. I wouldn't have known what emptiness felt like. And I wouldn't have surrendered. I wouldn't have asked the universe or God. I referred to God. I said, God, help me. And I never would have said those words if I hadn't have been at utter despair, if I hadn't have been at rock bottom. And then if I hadn't have done that, the universe would not have brought the law of attraction into my life. It may have down the line, but not at that point. And cured my depression naturally, turned my whole life around, manifested incredible friends and family into my life who, well, not family, they were already there, but friends, you know what I mean, spiritual buddies who have been my absolute freaking rocks. I never would have manifested any of what I have today. And I think in hindsight, I'm like, thank God all of that happened. Thank God all of those things happened exactly how they did, because it was always where I was meant to be. It was always how I was going to get on this journey. It was always what was meant for me to step into my spiritual side, to launch this spiritual business, to do all of this. That was always my purpose. That was my karmic life lessons here in this life. He was a karmic soulmate, the last guy I was with, who obviously, like, you know, triggered me into this spiritual awakening, triggered me into this journey, and it was all planned. My higher self was like, okay, this is the plan, this is what we're gonna do. And obviously we have free will choice as well. I want to stress that. There is always free will choice, but ultimately I do truly believe in myself that if we avoid that for long enough, the universe comes in and is like, right, life truck, come on, get on the path you're meant to be on. So we can only avoid stuff for so long. And geez, like, I was actually having this conversation the other day with my friends that when you avoid stuff, we all did it, we all said, geez, like, I avoided that for ages before I spiritually awakened. And they were like, yeah, like, geez, I avoided stuff. And then we talk about how dire situations got before the universe like chucked in the life truck, and there was like no other option but to take action and to obviously like change our life. So I believe it's a case of if you ignore it for long enough, like, you know, we all know it, what you ignore persists. If you don't learn the lessons, it's going to persist. So we all know that that is a thing, and that's very true, and I'm sure you can relate to a lot of what's been said in this video. But I think at the end of the day, like, whatever that has happened to you to draw you to this video, it's leading to a higher purpose. And I think using the law of attraction as like a scapegoat to say like, oh, you manifested it to yourself, like, sorry, it's just bullshit. It's not even it's just bullshit. Like, I can't even, because there's so many different facets of this universe that contribute to our experiences, to our timelines, to what we experience, to what we call into our lives. Like, yes, the law of attraction is real. Yes, we can call things into our reality, but if it's not meant for your highest good, you won't call it in. Exactly like what I did. I wanted to manifest that ex back. Jesus Christ, like, thank God that never happened. And the universe protected me from that. So it's really about looking at your circumstances from a bigger picture and say, is the universe protecting me from a bullet here? Is the universe stepping in and divine intervention is happening? Did I really attract this to myself through low thoughts, low vibration, fear, ego of feeling like you deserved that, you were worthy of that? Or actually, tune in. Is this something higher? Is this for something higher, like a karmic reason, a soul contract, getting you to where you're meant to be? Because I can guarantee, when I went through all that shit, oh my God, I was literally like, I think because at the time I was learning about law of attraction, you know, I learned that we do attract our experiences to us. But now, like 3, nearly 4 years on from that point, I look back and say, actually, everything had to happen like that for me to have the life I have today. I thank those experiences because I know how strong I am now. I know how much of a better person I am and how much happier I am as a person. And I think what has been pivotal for me is for, like, when similar circumstances have happened since spiritually awakening, I've been able to deal with them a whole world differently. I've been able to not take it personally. I've been able to move through things and see the bigger picture and actually realize it's nothing to do with me at all. So actually, my healing rate is quicker, my bounce back rate is quicker, and I still manifest a lot of abundance and amazing things into my life. So that is proof to me that the alignment is there. It's simply these karmic lessons. It's simply this timeline. It's simply those things that are always written in our story to happen, so that we can challenge ourselves to rise, challenge ourselves to up level, and challenge ourselves to see things differently, to heal those things. Now, like I said, like, you may have already healed that wound, but maybe it's a reminder to yourself to show you how far you've come, to show you how well you've done, and actually how strong you are and how you will get through this too. So I guess to summarize this video, if you're still here, thanks for watching, I would just simply say, I don't believe we attract bad things to us. I believe we attract the situations that are going to take us to where we need to be. So exactly with that, like, relationship scenario of when you put out those intentions of what you want to manifest, your higher self is going to call in a situation, a person, whatever, to show you exactly what you don't want. So as a soul, you can recognize what you do want and call in what is meant for you. So that's how I see it anyway. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. But I think my main message is life is too complicated for it to just be, oh, you manifested it. God, it's just so much more complex from that. And I think that's what I've learned mainly over the last 3 to 4 years is nothing. It's the law of attraction is surface, and there are so many other things. We've got like karmic cycles to ancestral healing, past lives. Oh my God, so many contributing things which we're all here to learn. We're here to heal, we're here to break, we're here to transform. This is our job. And I think at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people think that when you are spiritual, you do the law of attraction, you do your practices, you do your gratitude, you're feeling high vibe, everything's going good in life, that if something bad happens, it's like, whoa, you attracted that to yourself. And it's like, well, no, because if you look at that person, they were literally high vibe, happy, life was great, positive person, does good in the world, has up leveled, healed their wounds, done all they want. No, they haven't attracted it to themselves. It's just more complex than it meets the eye of. We choose these lessons, and we choose lessons through every stage of our life. Like, they do not stop. They may be less severe, they may be less big lessons, but you ask anybody, the biggest lessons in life are what really fucking shapes a person. It's what really is like the pivotal moments in someone's life. So as dire as it feels at that time, like I said, in hindsight, I can look back and think, thank God those things happened, because if they didn't happen exactly how they did, I wouldn't be where I am today. And that would make me sad. Like, I love where I am, I'm happy where I am. And although bad things may still happen to test me sometimes, and what I want to say here is bad things, because I think, you know, there's always, and I say bad things because in my head I'm like, well, it doesn't make me happy. Those things have happened, so therefore I would say it was a negative thing personally. But really, you know, in the grand scheme of things, nothing is ever a negative, nothing is ever bad. It's just simply an experience that happens, that is here to teach us. And actually, looking back, everything is positive. Looking at the dire situations which I thought would break me from my past, they were the best things to ever happen to me. Yeah, they didn't feel good at the time. Jesus, they did not feel good. But they were the best things that ever happened to me to lead me to where I am today. And even circumstances that have happened over the last 3 to 4 years as I've been spiritual, okay, they have not felt great, but I'm like, thank God, because it cleared the people out who weren't meant to be in my life. It protected me from so much, and I'm exactly where I'm meant to be, which is great. That's a great positive. So yin and yang, polarities, balance. Remember, I say this, we live in a universe of polarity, in a universe of yin and yang, darkness, light, summer, winter, all of it, divine feminine, divine masculine. There is polarity here, and without us knowing the absolute dire times in our life, the pain, the suffering, the trauma, the abuse, whatever it may be, the grief, we wouldn't know what true happiness and what true fulfillment is, and we wouldn't crave it. And I think that's why, that's why I believe we have to experience these things, because it teaches us to be a strong person. Like, it teaches us to be stronger, it teaches us to be wiser, and it teaches us to strive for better. And I look back and I think, if I hadn't have had those utter shit situations happen to me, I never would have strived for better. I never would have strived to love myself. I never would have strived to heal myself. I never would have strived to be a better person. I would have just always stayed in that place. So I think we need to drop this blame attitude of like, just blame the person. Actually, no, just have some sympathy for that person. They're going through hell. Like, everybody just needs a hug. Everybody needs a hug. Everybody needs to feel heard and listened to and supported. And at the end of the day, we don't attract these things into our life. It's so much more complex than that. And I hope this video has shone that light for you on just how deep spirituality really goes, and that actually surface level law of attraction is just surface level. Like, unless you really like look into like past lives, ancestral healing and all of this, like, yeah, it's easy to just say, oh, must have attracted that to myself, when actually no, this is your life story. These, like, you and your heart, well, you are your higher self, but your higher self, when you're up in spirit, has literally orchestrated all of these events in your life to lead you to what you wanted to come here and learn. So when we come here to the, you know, to the human realm, we choose, we say, right, what are our life lessons? What do we want to learn? I like to think that we sit around this little like circle table with our, like, you know, soul team, soul family, soul mates, twin flames, whatever. And we're like, right, this lifetime, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do that, and then you're going to come in and you're going to like blow shit up, and then that's going to trigger me to spiritual awaken. Then I'm going to do that, and then you're going to come in, and then this is going to happen. Like, obviously we can attract things, but we have that life path. We have that path that we are following. The story was already written. And sometimes that can be hard to hear. But again, hindsight is a beautiful thing. Like, hindsight is a beautiful thing. So what I want to say to you is that in 6 months' time, this pain you're feeling, you're not going to feel it anymore. And in 12 months' time, how you feel today, you won't even feel the same as how you felt at that 6-month mark. And that for me brought me a lot of comfort, because it's so true that whenever things have happened in my life, I know that even after a short amount of time, I'm not going to feel that pain anymore. It's going to subside. So wait till the kind of intensity or the ego reactiveness of the situation has passed, and really just check in with yourself here to say, is this my vibration? Is this my alignment? Is this wounding I need to work on? Or was this part of a bigger reason? Was this a diversion, a redirection, the universe saving me from something? Or was this just always part of my soul contract to have to do this, to have that illness, to go through that experience, etc. Because life is just complex. Life is complex and it's never as simple as you manifested it to yourself. Absolutely not. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, because I reply to them all, and it'd be really interesting to hear your thoughts on this. And you know, what I wanted to say is, like, absolutely take accountability. Like, you know, I'm not saying to people here, like, don't take accountability for your actions. Like, absolutely. I'm saying if a negative situation happens to you, take accountability of how you will react from that place. Take accountability of your thoughts, actions, and vibration from that place forward, because you choose how you react to everything. You choose how you respond to any situation in your life, and that's your accountability. That's where you take charge. That's where you can say, right, I have the choice of how I react to this. I have the choice of whether I up level. I have the choice of whether I heal this or whether I'm going to sit in victim mode. So there is accountability in this, absolutely. It's not bypassing. The bypassing comes when you simply just blame the law of attraction and say, oh, obviously attracted it to myself. So if you can sit there and say, right, actually I probably haven't healed that wound of worthiness, love, or whatever it may be, then hold your hands up and claim that, because that will be your biggest key to unlocking how you can move through that. But equally, sometimes bad shit happens, and well, I say bad, it's all positive, let's remember. But for purposes of this video, the negative things we don't like may happen, and it's not a case of you weren't doing the right things or you were manifesting it. Like, I know I haven't manifested some of the weird bad stuff that's happened in my life. It was just always meant to happen. It was always written within my story, within my contract, to go through those things to bring me to where I am today. And that's how you know whether you attract these things to yourself or not. And again, you know, I think relationships is such an obvious one here of you know, saying like, well, if you're always picking the same guy, then obviously it's happening. And like, yeah, obviously in that circumstance you can obviously say, well, did I stick to that dream partner list? Did I stick to that dream like spouse list? Or did I settle? Did I, like, you know, just basically like go with the first person who came up, basically? So I think it's just being honest with yourself here. That honesty is always the best policy, and saying to yourself, like, was that personal situation or house or job or career or manifestation really what you were asking for in the first place? And if another manifestation or something bad has happened within that manifestation afterwards, then it's really just saying, was this universe just swerving me from a bullet? Was the universe like redirecting me to what's actually meant to happen? Is this part of my soul contract and what I'm meant to be doing here on this earth, and this is always meant to happen? Or did I still have work to do? So there's numerous things here, but it's really a case of aligning to what feels true for you and what feels right for you in your situation. Because what I don't want to encourage here is spiritual bypassing, because that will unfortunately lead to you manifesting you know, like similar things again if you don't heal it. So I think it's just a case of going within, being honest with yourself, checking in. There's always more healing that can be done, like that's not a bad thing, and just like, yeah, seeing how your reaction is once that initial reaction has passed, and saying, right, if I'm actually in a calm, neutral space, that to me shows there's strength, there's been healing, and that actually this is something deeper which I can't quite perceive right now, but when I look back, it's going to make sense. It's going to have led me to something which is going to be more aligned or help or whatever. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I know this has been a long video, but there's just so much to flip and cover in this topic. So I hope it has really served you, and I hope that it has allowed you to have a bit more clarity if you have been asking that question of whether you attract bad situations or things that happen to yourself. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. I appreciate all your views and likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, because I would love to see you again soon. Don't forget to leave me a comment in the comments box down below, because I reply to them all. And don't forget you can join my free Law of Attraction support group over on Facebook, where you can join myself and other like-minded souls, where we talk all things Law of Attraction and spirituality. I hope you have a great week, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you all in my next video, which will be next week. Lots of love, guys.